The planet Ravion 3 was dead. Once it had farms, towns, and children who played under the twin suns. Now it was only dust and smoke. Wind blew across empty streets, carrying the smell of burned metal and ash. In the middle of this silence, a small human child sat near a broken shelter. Her clothes were torn. Her face was covered in dirt. She did not cry anymore. She had already cried too much. Now she just sat, staring at the sky, waiting for something that would never come. Above her, the sky was red. Alien ships moved like dark clouds. They were part of the Varkon Empire, conquerors of 100 worlds. To them, humans were nothing, only weak creatures lost and forgotten. A Varkon soldier, tall and armored, stepped near the child. He looked down at her with cold eyes. The child did not move. She just looked back. The alien laughed. "You humans never learn," he said. His voice was deep and cruel. He kicked a broken toy lying beside her, a small metal figure of a soldier holding an Earth flag. It flew into the dust. "Where are your people now, little creature?" he said. He looked at the sky and raised his weapon. "No one will come for you. No one remembers your kind." The other soldiers laughed and walked away, their boots leaving deep marks in the sand. Their ship lifted off, flames bursting from its engines, and soon they were gone. The wind blew again, covering everything in fine grey dust. The world was quiet, too quiet. The child slowly crawled toward the small metal figure. She picked it up and held it close. It was the only thing she had left from her parents, a toy her father gave her before the attack. A tear rolled down her cheek, making a clean line through the dirt. Then, a faint beeping sound came from under the toy. She turned it around. The figure's base was cracked, and inside a tiny red light was blinking. She didn't know it, but the toy was more than a toy. It was an emergency beacon, an ancient human distress signal, designed to call home. The light blinked faster. Then a soft pulse of energy escaped into the air, invisible to the eye but powerful enough to travel through space. The signal left the planet, passing moons and debris, heading toward the stars. Far above, in the dark of space, something heard it. A satellite, old, forgotten, and covered in space dust, woke up for the first time in centuries. Its systems hummed weakly. Its camera lens turned toward the source. The satellite sent a single message into the void. Human life signal detected. Location, Ravion 3. Down below, the child sat quietly. She looked at the sky. She didn't know why, but her heart felt lighter for a moment. Maybe someone would come. The camera or the narrator's voice could pause here, the music low, echoing like heartbeat. The scene shifts to space. The signal moves faster than light, crossing the void, jumping between old relay points that were sleeping for hundreds of years. Each one wakes for a second, repeats the signal, then goes silent again. In a hidden corner of the solar system, deep under the crust of a cold moon, a forgotten Earth Defense Command base still exists. The machines inside are covered with dust, lights dead, systems frozen. Until now. The moment the signal reaches it, the base comes alive. Red lights flash. Monitors turn on. Old human technology hums with energy. A robotic voice echoes in the empty control room. Distress signal received. Human child in danger. Origin, Ravion 3. Somewhere in the dark, a metal door slides open. A figure steps out of cryosleep, slow, heavy breath visible in the cold air. It's Commander Arya Trent, one of the last defenders of the old Earth fleet. Her eyes open, glowing faintly blue with neural implants. She looks at the message flashing before her. For a second, she says nothing. Then her voice breaks the silence. Prepare the fleet. The machines respond instantly. Engines warm up, weapons charge, and across the solar system, human ships wake from their long sleep. The sound of engines grows, deep and powerful, like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant returning to life. Back on Ravion 3, the child lies beside her broken shelter. Night falls. Stars fill the sky. She whispers, "Mom, Dad, I miss you." Far above, a shooting star crosses the darkness, but it's not a star. It's a ship. An Earth ship. And it's coming fast. The narrator's final line for this part. They thought humanity was gone. They thought no one would come for the child. But in the silence of space, Earth heard her cry. Far from the dead world of Ravion 3, in the deep silence of space, a faint signal moved through the darkness. It was weak, old, almost forgotten. But it carried something powerful, a cry for help. The signal passed through asteroid fields, through the rings of dead planets, through the remains of ancient human outposts. Each time, old machines blinked awake for a second, recognized the code, and repeated it onward. The message was clear. Human life detected. Distress signal active. Origin, Ravian 3. For years, the universe believed Earth was gone, destroyed, silent, or lost. But deep beneath the icy crust of Titan, one of Saturn's moons, something still lived. A buried fortress, a heartbeat of steel and code. The last home of the United Earth Defense Command. Inside that fortress, everything was quiet. Until now, suddenly lights flickered. Screens came alive. Machines that had slept for centuries began to hum again. Red alarms blinked across dark corridors. Robotic voices echoed in the silence. Incoming signal. Code human distress. Source outer rim sector. Verification complete. In the central chamber, glass pods lined the walls. Inside each pod slept a soldier, frozen in time. As the signal reached the main computer, one pod opened. Steam filled the air. A woman stepped out, tall, strong, and calm. Her name was Commander Arya Trent. Her eyes glowed faintly blue from old cybernetic implants. She looked around, breathing slowly, adjusting to life again. The base's AI voice spoke softly, almost with emotion. Commander Trent, you have been asleep for 187 years. Reason for awakening. Human distress signal detected. Arya stared at the screen. On it, a small child appeared. Dirty, scared, sitting among ruins. The video feed was short, broken, but it was enough. For a long moment, Arya said nothing. Then she whispered, "She's just a child." She placed her hand on the console. Run full scan on Ravian 3. Maps and data flooded the holographic screens. Destroyed cities, alien troop movements, radiation levels. The system's voice continued. Planet under Varkon control. Guesstimated survival rate of humans 0.3%. Arya's jaw tightened. 0.3% is still life, she said. She turned to the AI. Activate the recall protocol. Instantly, the base trembled. Old engines deep underground roared to life. Across the solar system, hidden human stations received the same command. Lights came on in dark hangars. Weapons systems powered up. One by one, ships began to wake. The AI's voice spread across the network. This is Earth Command. Distress signal received. Prepare for departure. Inside one of the ships, a pilot woke from cryosleep. He blinked at the bright lights. Are we going back? Another voice answered through the comms, firm and proud. Yes, soldier. Earth answers the call. Outside engines glowed blue. Massive ships slowly lifted off from Titan's surface, breaking through the ice and dust. Their metal hulls still carried the Earth flag, faded but unbroken. In orbit, hundreds of drones activated. They connected into a single network, forming what old humans once called the Terran Fleet Grid. Every ship, every AI, every soldier linked together under one purpose: protect humanity. Arya watched it all from the command deck. Her voice was steady, but her heart raced. Set coordinates for Ravion 3. Confirmed, said the AI. ETA 9 hours. She stood by the window, looking out at the stars. The Earth itself was hidden behind Saturn's golden rings, but even from here it looked alive. She whispered, almost to herself, "We left so much behind, but we never forgot who we are." Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Cade, walked in. He looked younger, newly thawed, his uniform still crisp. "Commander," he said quietly, "is it true? A human child survived?" Arya nodded. "Yes, one child, but she's not alone anymore." Cade frowned. "The Varkons will see us as a threat if we cross their space." Arya looked at him. Her voice turned sharp. "They already made their choice when they hurt her. We're not starting a war, Doctor, we're answering one." For a few seconds the room was silent except for the hum of the engines. Then she gave the final command. "Launch the fleet." Outside, the ships moved into formation. From the moon's shadow, the Earth fleet emerged, dark, sleek, and silent. It looked like a swarm of ghosts rising from the grave. As they entered hyperspace, a final message was sent across all channels, a message written in ancient human code, one the galaxy hadn't seen in centuries. To all who can hear this, humanity lives, Earth remembers. And we are coming. Back on Ravion 3, the child lay under the same broken shelter. She looked up at the stars again. Somewhere far away, faint lights flickered in the sky. Too small to see clearly. Too fast to follow, but if someone had been close enough, they would have heard the soft sound of engines in the night, the sound of Earth answering the call. The Varkon Empire ruled the stars with fire and fear. For 1,000 years, they crushed every world that refused to kneel. To them, power was everything. Mercy was weakness. In the great city of Canis Prime, the capital of the Empire, golden towers touched the clouds. Massive ships floated above the skyline like dark wings. Every street was filled with banners showing the Varkon symbol, a burning sun. Inside the Hall of Command, hundreds of alien officers stood around a glowing map of the galaxy. They spoke in deep, echoing voices, full of pride and victory. "Another human colony destroyed," one officer said. "Their kind fades like dust." A tall Varkon leader, High General Vorak, turned to face them. His armor was polished black and red. His eyes glowed with a strange light. "Good," he said. "Humans were always a noisy species, always talking about freedom, hope, and honor. Useless words. The galaxy belongs to those who take it." The others laughed, sharp, metallic laughter that echoed through the hall. A young officer stood near the edge of the room, silent. His name was Reth. He was smaller than the others, newer to the army, still learning what it meant to be a soldier of the Empire. But his face was tense. His hands shook slightly. He remembered the planet Ravion 3, the burning houses, the crying child left in the dust. He could still hear her small voice calling for help as they flew away. Now surrounded by generals celebrating victory, he felt sick. Vorak noticed his silence. "Something to say, soldier?" he asked. His tone was sharp, dangerous. Reth swallowed. "Sir, what if the humans are not all gone?" The hall fell quiet for a moment. Then laughter burst out again. Vorak smiled cruelly. "Not all gone? Do you think ghosts will rise from their dead planet? Their world burned long ago. Their cities are ashes. Their fleets, dust. But," Reth hesitated, "what if they still have something left? Their fleet hidden or a base?" Vorak stepped closer, towering over him. "Enough," he said. "Humans were children playing with fire, and when they burned, no one came to save them." Reth lowered his eyes. "Yes, sir." The general turned back to the map. "Soon," he said, "we will take the last of their ruins and erase their name from history. No one will even remember what Earth was." The room cheered again. They did not notice the small red light flashing quietly at the edge of the map, a minor sensor warning from the border regions. Far away, near the edge of their empire, something was coming. In the outer patrol zone, a Varkon scout ship moved through the dark. Its pilot was half asleep, bored. Suddenly his radar blinked. He frowned. "That's strange." There was movement, fast, silent, and huge, but the computer couldn't identify it. He tried to zoom in, but the screen only showed static. Then for a second he saw it. A black shape, larger than any ship he had ever seen, moving without sound. Before he could speak, his screen went dark. Signal lost. In the command hall, moments later, the warning light turned red. An officer spoke. "General Vorak, we've lost contact with Patrol Station 19. Vorak didn't even look up. Probably a system error. "Send another ship to check it." "Yes, sir." The young soldier, Reth, looked up from his station. "Sir, that's the third patrol lost this week," Vorak growled. "You think the humans are behind this, boy?" Reth hesitated, then said softly, "I don't know, sir." "But something's moving out there," Vorak laughed. "Let it move. If something dares to challenge us, we'll crush it too." But deep inside, even Vorak felt a small flicker of unease. Varkons ruled through strength, yet something about these missing ships didn't feel like a random glitch. Later that night, Reth stood alone on a high balcony overlooking the city. The stars above were bright, endless, and cold. He thought about the child on Ravion 3. Her small face, her silent eyes. He whispered, "If anyone hears her, please help her." As he spoke, a shooting star crossed the sky, a streak of white fire. He smiled sadly, thinking it was just space debris. He didn't know it was a human ship entering their space. In the following days, more patrols vanished. Entire outposts went silent. Varkon scanners began picking up strange energy signals, old but powerful. The reports piled up on Vorak's desk, but he ignored them all. "Rumors," he said. "Old machines waking up, nothing more." But in his dreams he saw something, a fleet of dark ships with a blue light burning at their core. He woke up sweating, though he never told anyone. In a hidden room deep under Canis Prime, A scientist studied the newest data from the border. He ran the analysis 3 times. Each time the result was the same. Energy signature, Terran origin. Source, human technology. He froze. The humans were back. He rushed to send a message to the high command, but the lights flickered. A loud hum filled the room. Every monitor went black except one. On the screen appeared a simple message in human code. We heard the child's cry. The scientist stepped back, terrified. He whispered, "Impossible." Then the lights went out completely. Far away, just outside Varkon space, the Earth fleet prepared its jump. Commander Arya's voice echoed across every ship. They thought we were gone. They thought no one would avenge the child. Now they will remember the name of Earth. The stars ahead twisted as hyperspace opened, and humanity returned to the war it never finished. In the cold silence of deep space, something moved. A ripple of light. A shadow in the stars. Then from the black hundreds of ships appeared, and silent, fast, and deadly. They didn't roar or flash their arrival. They simply were there, like ghosts returning to their graves. It was the United Earth Fleet, awake after centuries of sleep. Each ship was painted dark grey, almost invisible against the stars. Their engines glowed with a quiet blue light, steady and cold. On every hull one symbol stood bright, a small blue Earth, surrounded by stars. Inside the lead ship, UES Valor, Commander Arya Trent stood at the front window, watching the stars twist back into normal space. "Status?" she asked. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Cade, replied, "All ships out of hyperspace. Weapons online. The fleet is ready." Arya nodded slowly. "Good. Open a wide transmission." Cade pressed a few keys and a deep tone filled the air. Across Varkon space, every communication channel began to flicker. Every screen, every radar, every ship's console, Arya's voice echoed across the galaxy. "This is Commander Arya Trent of the United Earth Fleet. You hurt one of ours. You left a child to die. We are coming for her." On Canis Prime, alarms screamed through the capital. Officers ran through the halls shouting reports. Unknown ships entering border space. Identification impossible. Their technology doesn't match any known empire. General Vorak stormed into the command room. "Show me." The main screen lit up. A dark fleet covered the stars, moving in formation, silent and perfect. Vorak frowned. "What is this?" One of his aides whispered, "Sir, their signal. It matches an old file, Terran code." Vorak froze. "Impossible." Then across every screen in the Empire, Arya's message played again. "We are coming." Back in the field, near Outpost Zaris, a Varkon defense fleet of 50 ships waited nervously. The commander, Captain Relth, tried to keep his voice steady. "Unknown vessels, this is Varkon space. You are violating Imperial territory. Identify yourselves immediately." No answer. He repeated the call. "Identify yourselves or we will—" Before he could finish, his radar went dark. Every sensor, every weapon control is dead. His voice shook. "What's happening?" Then, out of the darkness, the Earth fleet moved. Dozens of ships appeared around them. Not loud, not dramatic, just present. Their weapons charged silently. The Varkon ships scrambled to aim, but their systems were jammed. A calm human voice came through the radio. "We don't want war. But we don't run from it either." And then the sky exploded. Blue light cut through space, clean, fast, and terrifying. One Varkon ship vanished in an instant, turned into fragments of glowing dust. Another followed, and another. Within seconds, half the Varkon fleet was gone. Captain Relth shouted, "Retreat! Retreat!" But it was too late. The humans didn't chase them. They simply let the survivors run, like predators allowing prey to spread the warning. Inside the Valor, Arya watched the enemy ships scatter. Cade looked at her. "Orders, Commander." She spoke quietly, but every word carried strength. "Let them run. Fear is faster than our ships." He smiled a little. "Yes, ma'am." Arya turned toward the navigation display. On it, the planet Ravian 3 glowed faintly. "That's where it began," she said. "That's where we end it." On the Varkon homeworld, panic spread faster than light. Reports of destroyed fleets poured in. Every news screen repeated the same headline: "Unknown human forces strike border." In the council chambers, Vorak slammed his fist on the table. "They are just humans," he roared. "Find them and crush them." But his scientists looked pale. "Sir," one said quietly, "our sensors can't track them. Their ships move faster than light, but not through hyperspace. Their weapons are beyond our energy fields. We don't understand their technology." Vorak glared. "Then learn faster, or we will all die." Reth, standing near the back, felt a chill. Humans. The name he had been taught to mock now filled him with fear and curiosity. He remembered the child again, the one his people had left behind. Maybe this was her revenge. Hours later, as the Earth fleet approached Ravion 3, the surface came into view. Burned cities, broken towers, dust storms moving like ghosts. Arya looked down at the ruins. Cade said softly, "Commander, we're late." Arya shook her head. "No, we're right on time." She opened a comm line to all ships. "Listen to me, every one of you. This is not just rescue. This is remembrance. The galaxy forgot who we are. Let's remind them." The fleet moved closer. Dozens of landing crafts dropped through the clouds, lights cutting through the darkness. For the first time in hundreds of years, the shadow of Earth fell upon alien soil again. In the dust below, the human child still sat near her broken shelter. Her eyes opened as she heard a deep sound in the sky, a sound she had never heard before. Engines. She looked up. Through the clouds, she saw bright blue lights descending, ships shaped like blades of light. She whispered, "Are they angels?" As one ship landed nearby, the symbol on its side gleamed, a blue Earth surrounded by stars. A ramp lowered, and soldiers in silver armor stepped out, holding the same flag she had seen in her toy. Commander Arya walked forward, removing her helmet. Her voice was soft but firm. "We heard you, little one. You're safe now." The child smiled weakly as she reached out. Above them, the sky burned with light as Earth's fleet spread across the planet. The narrator's voice fades in. "They thought no one would avenge the human child." But the silence of space had kept a promise. When Earth returned, it came with fire. Ravion 3 was quiet. Too quiet. The dust settled over burned buildings, broken towers, and empty streets. But now the silence was not of death. It was the calm before a storm. From the clouds above, the Earth fleet hovered. Ships glinted in the dim light, their engines humming with controlled power. Landing crafts descended, carrying soldiers trained for centuries, awake for this moment alone, to protect one child and avenge humanity. Commander Arya Trent led her team. Her eyes were sharp, her steps measured. Beside her, Lieutenant Cade checked his weapon systems. "We're ready, Commander," Arya nodded. "Every ship, every soldier. This is for her. Protect her at all costs." Below, the child watched from the ruins. Dust clung to her hair and clothes, but something inside her had changed. Fear had not disappeared, but hope had begun to glow. She didn't know it yet, but the humans who had left her behind were finally here. The soldiers spread out across the streets like shadows. Their footsteps were quiet, but their presence was heavy. Every Varkon patrol they encountered fell quickly, overpowered not by cruelty, but by skill and precision. A Varkon unit appeared ahead, 3 soldiers with glowing weapons. The humans did not hesitate. Within moments, the Varkons were disarmed and captured. The child's small eyes widened. She had never seen humans fight like this, clean, coordinated, and unstoppable. Arya approached her carefully. "You're safe now," she said. The child nodded, unsure. I thought no one would come." Arya's face softened. "We came. Earth never forgets its children." Meanwhile, the Varkon Empire scrambled. General Vorak's command hall was chaos. Reports of destroyed patrols, captured units, and entire fleets gone filled the room. "They move faster than we can track," an officer cried. "They strike like ghosts and then vanish." Vorak slammed his fist. "Stop them! Kill them all!" But the humans did not merely fight. They swept across the planet with purpose, targeting only those responsible for harming humans. From the child's perspective, the scene was almost magical. Ships swooped overhead, sending bright flares into the sky. Soldiers moved through the ruins, clearing every threat. It was revenge and protection at the same time, executed with the care of those who knew what loss felt like. The child whispered to herself, "They came. For me." In the chaos, Reth, the young Varkon soldier from before, watched from the shadows. He had seen too much, felt too much. He remembered the fear in the child's eyes, the laughter of his comrades as they left her behind. Something inside him changed. Reth stepped forward, unarmed. "Stop," he said. A Varkon patrol spun toward him. "What?" Reth raised his hands. "I will help them." "I cannot fight a child like that." The patrol hesitated, confused. Then, realizing he meant what he said, they ran. Back on the battlefield, Earth soldiers moved with perfect coordination. Drones scanned buildings, clearing mines and traps. AI-guided strikes hit Varkon supply lines without harming civilians or survivors. The message was clear. Humanity fights for justice, not wanton destruction. The child stood on a small hill holding her broken toy, the one that had sent the signal across space. Now, as Earth soldiers surrounded her, it was no longer just a toy. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even the smallest humans mattered. Arya knelt beside her. "Do you see them? Every soldier, every ship. They are here because of you. Because one human child cried and Earth answered." The child's eyes glistened. I don't know what to say." "You don't need to," Arya said. "We fight with action, not words." By the end of the day, the humans had cleared the major Varkon forces from the planet. Ships hovered above the ruins, shining light into the darkness. Captured soldiers were restrained, not executed. The humans gave them a choice: surrender, or face the full force of Earth's law. The child looked at the alien soldiers, many of them young like Reth, and whispered, "Why did you hurt us?" Reth stepped forward, ashamed. I didn't. I tried to stop it." The child nodded slowly, understanding that not all were the same. Arya stood and looked across the battlefield. Her voice carried across comms, firm and proud. "Today we rescued one child. Tomorrow we reclaim the galaxy. Humanity does not forget, and we do not forgive. We fight with honor and we fight for each other." The child smiled faintly, standing taller than before. For the first time since the attack, she felt safe, protected and powerful, because humans had come and they would not leave. As night fell on Ravion 3, the stars above seemed brighter. Above the planet, the Earth fleet formed a silent shield, a promise in the sky. No human would be abandoned again. The narrator's voice fades in. They thought the child was alone. They thought humanity had fallen. But when Earth answers the call, even the smallest voice carries the weight of the stars. The battle over Ravion 3 was over. Smoke rose from broken cities. Dust covered the plains. But for the first time in centuries, hope returned to the planet. The Earth fleet hovered above, engines glowing softly. Soldiers moved carefully through the ruins, checking every corner for survivors, human or alien alike. This was not a war of destruction. This was a war of justice. The child stood on a small hill near her broken shelter. She held her toy, now repaired by drone repair units. It glowed faintly, the same red light that had sent a signal across space calling Earth to action. She looked up as Commander Arya Trent approached. Her voice was calm but carried the weight of command. "It's over. You are safe now. Earth answers all cries for help." The child's eyes widened. Really?" Arya nodded. "Yes, and not just you. We will make sure no one suffers like this again." Across the planet, captured Varkon soldiers were assembled in neat rows. Many were terrified, some ashamed, others confused. Reth stood among them. He looked at the humans around him, not monsters, not cruel beings, but disciplined warriors who fought for justice and honor. He lowered his head. I wish I had helped sooner." One of the soldiers beside him laughed softly. "You did what was right in the end." The child stepped forward and for the first time spoke to the aliens. "Do not harm humans again, and help those who need help. That is what you must do now." Reth bowed. "I understand." In the skies above, the Earth fleet spread across the planet like a protective net. Sensors scanned the horizon. Ships patrolled the borders. No Varkon ship could move without being detected. On the bridge of the UES Valor, Arya spoke to her fleet. "Today, we saved one life. Tomorrow, we defend all lives. Let every star in the galaxy know this. Humanity does not forget. Humanity does not forgive cruelty. And when Earth answers, the stars themselves tremble." Back on Ravion 3, life slowly returned. Humans who had survived in hiding came out of shelters. The child's small smile grew wider as soldiers helped rebuild homes and clear debris. Drones carried supplies. Medics treated wounds. It was a rebirth, powered by the determination of a species that refused to be broken. Even the Varkon soldiers who surrendered were given a choice: leave peacefully, serve justice, or face consequences. Many chose to help rebuild, realizing that mercy and honor could be stronger than fear. Far across the galaxy, the news spread. Every communication network picked up the same signal. Earth had returned. Every empire, every conquered world, every soldier learned the same lesson. Humans, even in exile, could strike with precision, honor, and strength beyond imagination. The Varkon Empire collapsed in fear and confusion. Generals argued over reports. Ships vanished without explanation. They had underestimated humanity, and now the galaxy had changed forever. On Ravion 3, the child finally let herself cry, not in fear, not in pain, but in relief. She walked toward Arya and reached out. "Thank you for coming." Arya smiled, lifting her gently. No one is ever alone when Earth answers. The child looked up at the sky where Earth's fleet glowed against the stars. She whispered softly, "I thought no one would avenge me. I was wrong." A quiet hum filled the planet. The engines of the fleet, the pulse of justice, the heartbeat of humanity itself. It was a promise that no child would be abandoned. As the final shots of the story, the narrator's voice echoes over the scene. He thought no one would avenge the human child. He was wrong. When Earth answers, the weak are protected, the brave are honored, and the galaxy trembles before the will of humanity. The camera pans upward. The stars shine brighter than ever. Earth's flag flies across the fleet. The child holds it close, smiling, knowing she is home safe and remembered. The screen fades to black with dramatic orchestral music, leaving the audience inspired and awed, a true HFY ending.